Hello, it's Lynn Watts here from Wyatt the Wonder Dog Books. And in this video, I want to continue the discussion about stress and anxiety. But instead of talking about what it is, I want to talk about what to do about it. And this is certainly one of the most important things that we can teach young students. I've already established in the last video that stress is simply a part of life. We can look at it as something that is positive or something that is negative, but the fact is that either way, we need to learn how to cope with the feeling of stress and anxiety. And in this video, I want to talk about, 7 different ways that students can handle those kind of feelings. So the first one, as you might imagine, because this is really something that's talked about a lot today, although I must admit that years and years ago, when I first started in counseling, this was not something people talked about at all. And that is to control our breathing and to practice some breathing exercises. So there are lots of different types of breathing exercises that we can easily teach students. The beauty of breathing exercises that you can do at any place, anywhere, because we're always breathing. And it is something that we absolutely have control over. So teaching students that practicing some specific types of breathing exercise like the box breathing or belly breathing, various types of breathing can help not just calm down us physically, but because our body becomes slower and more relaxed through breathing, we are also slowing down our heart rate, and focusing on breathing helps us to quiet any kind of racing thoughts or negative thoughts that we might have that are contributing to stress and anxiety. So learning some specific breathing exercises can certainly be a very effective way of coping with stress and anxiety, and it's available to anyone at any time. Okay, so the second one is very much related, and that is mindfulness and relaxation. So in this case, we're talking about some specific relaxation types of exercises, which generally involve tensing and then relaxing various parts of the body. Many times we start, let's say, with the feet and then kind of work our way all the way up the body. And again, this is similar to the breathing types of exercises in that it gives our mind something else to focus on besides any kind of anxious thoughts. And at the same time, it helps to relax the muscles in the body, which leads to a feeling of relaxation and calm. So this could also include guided imagery. So teaching students to have a particular place, for instance, that they can imagine themselves in, whether that's perhaps at the beach or in the mountains or somewhere that is relaxing to them, seeing themselves in that place and then noting the different details of the place, the sounds, the smells, so forth. That kind of imagery can also be very calming. So mindfulness and relaxation, visualization exercises can be very effective. For those students that like writing, journaling can be a very effective way to work out stress, problem solving, all these kinds of things can help students get their feelings out, learn to recognize their feelings, and so on. So journaling and kind of a stream of consciousness sort of journaling or writing that doesn't involve having to worry about editing or spelling things right or anything like that can be very effective as well. One thing that is often neglected, I think, is not something that we typically recommend to students or teach students, is simply physical activity. And I think that comes from the fact that in many ways nowadays we lead very sedentary lives. And so perhaps we just don't think about the possibility of using physical activity to help us calm down, to relax, to relieve stress and anxiety. But it can be extremely effective, and especially for students maybe who are not so good at, let's say, maybe visualization or journaling or some of these other things that require sitting still, basically. Physical activity would definitely be a great recommendation. So whether that means just getting out and running, jogging, um, uh, any kind, playing a game, a sport, swimming. I mean, just any kind of physical activity that engages our body and allows us to engage our mind and focusing on that activity rather than on some of the negative, stressful thoughts that we may be thinking. So don't neglect physical activity as a great stress reliever. Um, Learning to manage their time can be an effective stress reliever. How is that the case? This is, again, a coping strategy that I don't think we often think about as a stress reliever. But the fact is that if you talk about time management, you're usually talking about breaking tasks into smaller pieces, structuring time so that um, students set goals, plan ahead, lots of different things that involve creating a plan, and then as a consequence of that, helps to relieve stress. Let's talk about, for instance, the stress of an upcoming test. So learning to prepare for the test, to plan ahead for the test, to maybe schedule some short study times on an ongoing basis leading up to the test. Any kind of planning and management of their studying activities and preparation can definitely help relieve stress so that when it comes time for this test, student feels prepared rather than waiting till the last minute trying to cram. So time management can definitely ease the stress of looming deadlines of any kind. Positive self-talk, and of course this is the bread and butter of counseling, is it not? But helping students to really recognize the different things that they say to themselves and to identify whether that is something that is serving them well and helping to relieve stress, or whether they're simply stressing themselves out by thinking about particular, perhaps repetitive, negative kind of self-talk, and helping students perhaps to develop some reassuring self-talk. This might be a mantra that they come up with, something like, I can do hard things, or anything that can be supportive. So developing positive self-talk is a definite stress reliever. And then finally, the seventh way to help students relieve stress or to decrease anxiety is to find some support and talk it out. And again, this is certainly something that we can provide as the counselor, is giving them an opportunity to talk it out, but also helping students to develop a support system. So whether that's thinking about who is a friend that I can count on, who is somebody I can trust to be supportive, to help me calm down, to give me some good advice. Because obviously, as a counselor, you're not always there for every student. So helping them to identify how, when, where they would be able to talk about their feelings, and through that talking about it, relieve stress and anxiety is the final coping strategy that I have for you today. So I hope those different ideas can help. We certainly would want to tailor the coping mechanism to the individual student. Not all of them are going to feel natural or helpful to every student. But if you look at their personality style, you look at what they're most open to doing, or what they have maybe already have in place but aren't utilizing as well as they could, I'm sure you can help students develop some good techniques for coping with stress and anxiety. So I hope these ideas help you as you help students and young elementary age kids. And thanks so much for listening.